So here, I guess the garden, instead of it being part of the garden, it is the garden.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the whole thing would be okay, one garden. Yeah. So the way it's set up is that we have a thin layer of compost at the bottom. It could be mud, or you could use mud as well, or whichever, or compost, but something that holds nutrients.
Yeah.
That would be at the bottom. And then if you don't want to see the actual layer, then you could push it back and let the layer of the river sand go in the front.
Yeah.
Right. And then the top layer would be a river sand. Your river sand or building sand or quarry dust, anything that is gravel, anything that is porous.
Would you wash it first before?
Yes, yes. Yeah, sorry, I forgot that. Yeah. So you'd rinse it out so all the little dust.
Yes.
They don't all have to go, but
if you've ever dealt with quarry dust, you'll see the amount of dust. Small particulate matter.
So even with the quarry dust, there's two types.
Yeah.
You should get the one with the actual pebbles inside. There's one that's really fine.
Yes. Yeah. No.
So the anything that kind of can act as a filter between your nutrient layer and your water column, you don't want that to mix, because certain nutrients can tint your water.
Yes.
Can, do different things for certain or enzymes, or any organism can actually spread, and but at the same time they are necessary for your plants. So you want a layer between the two. So once you have that layer, you can plant your plants. When you're planting them, push them just enough at least that they can reach the nutrients. They'll root and whatever. Your logs that you're using should be something that is all the bark should already dry out. Everything should have been fallen off. It is advised that you boil it before.
So you're not introducing any other potential organism that's on there. And stuff like that.
It's not a problem, because I've had situations where, like in that one there, I never boiled the log. In fact, I barely boil my logs. So that one, the entire fish tank ended up, with a full algae bloom, like a bluish algae, blackish algae. And I just got rid of all the fish, and I removed all the plants. And I searched online, what am I supposed to do about this? So many different people said different things. The one guy said, just leave it, it's gonna go. It's just the way
it's just working through
whatever food that it's surviving on will finish, and
then it'll die off.
It will die off, and then you can clear it out. When I start off my aquariums, they barely have any plants inside, because obviously I don't have much stock. I'll plant in, or if I do, I'll plant very small ones until they grow out. During that stage, I don't mind the algae. I'd allow the fish tank to have a lot more light. So until those can actually get a bit. So during those stages, there'll be a lot of algae, and I'll be cleaning it more. You don't have to do this, but if you just want a faster growth. And there we go. That one and this one, they both went through a whole algae bloom. So you can actually still see they are more foggier compared to the rest, because they still have that slight.
But in a way, actually, I think it creates kind of a nice visual in that it was almost like a peek into the middle of a deep pond that you wouldn't see otherwise, and it's almost like taking a slice through and getting that kind of, visual, which is really, really nice.
So just like any garden, you have to make sure your plants are placed correctly where your lights are. So let's say you have your light, okay, that's where your light is going. Anything that is small would be planted closer to those lights. If anything that is tall, then you can plant it away from the light, that's fine. Because okay, it's going to reach the light anyways. So just like any garden, your placing of plants is also important as well. And the rocks, feel free to use whatever rocks you want. Just wash them before you put them in. So in terms of maintenance, again, you do have to clean the screen with from algae. That's if you haven't got the balance yet. So for example, the tank like that, I stopped cleaning it a very long time ago. The tank for it's viewed from, that's perfect. So so this is pretty much a pond tank as well as a riverscape. So the style of the tank is pond because it's very shallow and wide, and it's riverscape because it's long. Right. So this. And then
in terms of the fish that you've included into here, because there are obviously some really beautiful colors and things like that.
So what is actually in the tank? You're trying to create a whole ecosystem. Right, so you want the fish as well to be compatible. You want everything to be compatible. So apart from the fish, we also have snails inside, which keep everything clean. The fish would eat whatever food they eat. They'll throw their waste. If they don't eat food as well, that food can also put in a lot of ammonia and nitrogen into the water, which you don't want.
Are you selling fish already?
Yes.
You are selling fish, and are you selling the water plants as well?
Even all the way to the aquariums. I've managed to sell 3 full four full aquariums, set-up aquariums. Obviously, I had to set it up there. In terms of the fish, I breed them myself, so I have quite a lot of stock. This is, I think, the second year of selling fish.
Nice.
There's a breeding season, so
yes,
rainy season, yeah. So rainy season, you get a lot of breeding. Then you've kind of pretty much grow them out to March, April, and then start selling them after that. Yeah.
I like this one too, how it's layered.
That's the one I was telling you about. I need to trim before you come because it got too bushy. So that's the idea is supposed to be as though you're walking through a hilly area.
Yeah.
And that's what you'd see, kind of the mountains and the grass in
So
the middle.
what I see gas bubbles being released. What's that?
That's oxygen coming out from the plants.
Mm.
Yeah. So that's replacing mechanical pumps right there. It's physical evidence that plants are enough to oxygenate your water. You don't need the pump, you don't need the... So it's actually called purling. So what happens is it forms a little bubble and then it just shoots out. And that happens a lot when I trim.
Yeah.
Because there's no end.
Yeah.
So they're just escaping.
It's one of those kinds of crazy things to think that is happening all the time in waterways and stuff like that.
You don't even see it. Yeah.
No, this is beautiful.
The plants actually make a really big difference in having them in the tubs. I don't know why shopkeepers, the shops don't do that. Instead of having to change the water over and over again, this is really helping me because I don't have to change the water.
Yeah.
And the food, I feed them very little, and then I have 2 or 3 snails, to remove anything extra.
Yeah.
So it does stay, even though it's very small.
It stays quite clear.
Fresh. Yeah. Right.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So if somebody wanted to do this themselves, what would your kind of suggestions be on starting and how to do it effectively?
So the same way we did, I showed you the cement bowl.
Mm-hmm.
That would pretty much be the cement. You could use plastic, you could use a dish. I've seen somebody use the metal, bathtubs.
Yeah.
Those look really, really nice in the garden. So you could also use those if you wanted to do it at home, if you wanted to do it outside. Same way, you don't have to have a glass.
Yeah.
Yeah. You could view it from the top. It's pretty much the same concept.
Like this is more viewed from the top for these ones here, effectively.
Yeah. Although these are pretty much, I'm growing.
These have the.
I'm actually growing these for food for the tiny fish.
Oh,
I'm waiting for little tiny organisms. Although they are there, it's just that you can't see them.
The diatoms and things like that.
So then I just kind of scoop little cups of water and just put it in there, and you see them. They actually, so the fish kind of go and attack the.
Yeah.
So it's good for extra protein, because you can't just keep feeding them, the flaky food.
Yeah.
You want to give them some healthy growth as well.
And then.